all of you. I am Mahima Saxena, Assistant Professor at AKGC in Computer Science Department. Today, my topic is top-down parsing. My lecture is on compiler design, and today's topic is top-down parsing. First, we will understand what is top-down parsing, how will it work, and in compiler, how am I used this top-down parser. First of all, I need to explain parsing is of two types. The first one is top-down parsing and the second one is bottom-up parsing. The top-down parsing is further divided, like with the name suggests. According to the name, we evaluate a meaning, which is like we need to process the program or the question or the anything which is given to us is in the top to down manner. This is called a top down parsing, and further it will divide into two parts: predictive parsing and without predictive parsing, in which ll1 grammar is there, and other is backtracking or without backtracking. These are the types of a top down parsing. The next one is bottom up parsing. In bottom up parsing, we have different types of parsers present. The first one is shift reduce parser, the second one is operator precedence parser, and the third and the fourth one is different types of parser, which is called LR parsers. LR parsers are like, first we need to calculate LR 0 items, and after that we calculate SLR parser. The full form of SLR parser is simple LR parsers. Here LR is defined as like the L stands for left to right scanning and R stands for rightmost derivation. This is called LR parsers. We have different types of LR parser. First, LR 0 items needs to create. Second, LR 1 items needs to create. And after that, we calculate CLR and LALR. This is the scenario of bottom up parsing. But now today I'll explain top down parsing. The first one is the tree is created from top to bottom. The top down parsing is of two types: recursive descent parsing and predictive parsing. In recursive descent parsing, if I'm talking about recursive descent parsing, backtracking is needed. If a choice of production rule does not work, we backtrack, try to other alternatives. In recursive descent parsing, that is the advantage, which is called backtracking. If our solution is not if the required solution is not according to our needs, then we can backtrack the process. The next one, it is journal parsing technique, but not widely used because it is not efficient. But in predictive parsing, if I am talking about predictive parsing, no backtracking is possible. It is efficient than recursive descent parsing. Needs a special form of grammar called LL1 grammar. This LL1 grammar is called first of all I'll explain what is LL. Here, what do you mean by LL? LL stands for, the first L is for left to right scanning, and the second L is for leftmost derivation, and that one is for the whole complete scanning is done with the help of one token. That one is stand for that particular one token. Next one is, this is called LL1 grammar. The full form of LL1 is this. The next one is recursive predictive parsing, is a special form of recursive descent parsing without backtracking. Non-recursive table driven predictive parser is also known as LL1 parser. This is the basic introduction of a top down parsing, and further the top down parsing is further divided into recursive descent parsing and predictive parsing. The next one is recursive descent parsing, which uses backtracking. The first of all, we need backtracking and is needed, and it tries to find the leftmost derivation. For example, if a grammar is given here, S derives small a capital B, this small a is called terminals and capital B is called non-terminals, and again the small c is called terminal, and B is for small b and c, and then again B. The input string is A, B and C. We need to derive that input string A, B, C with the help of this grammar. So suppose first I'll start with S, then we further divide into B, C, and then we further divide into C. Now I'm unable to get this particular string because I want this particular string, right? I'm unable to get this particular string. So this is called that I fails. I fails. I failed because I need to get this string. I required that string and I'm not able to get the string. After that, we backtrack again and again choose this string. Again, choose the different language or different grammar from which we can derive that particular string. This is called backtracking. Now, if I'm talking about predictive parser, a grammar, basically a grammar suitable for predictive parsing, an LL1 grammar. First of all, it eliminates left recursion. Then second, left factoring also. No 100% guarantee of getting our solutions properly, but it will guarantee some extent of solution. When rewriting a non-terminal in a derivative step, a predictive parser can uniquely choose a production rule by just looking the current symbol in the input string, right? If I am talking about this example, for example, statement is if while begin dash dash dash. When we are trying to write the non-terminal STMT, if the current token is if, we have to choose first production rule. If we are trying to write the non-terminal statement, we can uniquely choose the production rule by just looking at the current token. And if we need to eliminate the left recursion in the grammar and left factor it, but it may not be suitable for predictive parsing, not LL1 grammar. This is called predictive parsing. Now, if I'm talking about recursive predictive parsing, each terminal corresponds to a procedure. For example, if A, capital A, derives small a, capital B, and small b, this is the only production rule for A. Production A matches the current token with A and move to the next token. Call B, match the current token with B and move to the next location, next token. This is the complete process. Like we perform this type of process only, right? The next one is if A derives small a, capital B, and small b, and small b, capital A, and capital B. Production A. Case of the current token is A. Match the current token with A and move to the next token called B. Next one is match the current token with B and move it to the next token B. Now match the current token B and move to the next token A, and then call A and then call B. This is the complete process I need to follow, or we need to follow, to match that particular string. Now, when to apply epsilon production? If all the other productions fail, we should apply an epsilon production. For example, if the current token is not A or B, we may apply the epsilon production. We may apply first of all, if all the other production fail, we should apply an epsilon production. For example, if the current token is not A or B, then for example, if in the previous slide, I'll show the input string is A, B, C, small a, small b, and small c. If the input string is, for example, if the starting symbol of string is, for example, D, and in this scenario we don't have the C, in the scenario we don't have the D, then I will apply the epsilon production. The statement or the points is trying to say this, that we need to apply, the current token is not A or B, we may apply the epsilon production. The most correct choice is we should apply an epsilon production for a non-terminal A when the current token is in the follow set of A. Which terminals can follow A in the sentimental form? This is called epsilon productions. Now, if I am talking about non-recursive predictive parsing, LL1 parser, the LL1 is a stand for the first L. The first L is a stand for left to right scanning, and the next L is stand for leftmost derivative tree, and the one is a stand for the token, that one particular token in which the complete scanning is possible. Non-recursive predictive parsing is a table-driven parser. It is a top-down parser. It is known as LL1 grammar. First of all, we have the input buffer, we have the stack, we have the non-recursive predictive parser and passing table, we have the input buffer, and we have the output. This is the like basic kind of a block diagram, we can say, of LL1 grammar. Now the first one is, what do you mean by an input buffer? Our string is to be passed. We will assume that it ends and is marked with a special symbol called $. This is the special symbol. In input buffer, start ending is will be the $. The end will be always will be the dollar with the help of $ symbol. In the output, a production rule will represent a step of the derivation sequence, left to most derivation of the string in the input buffer. Now I'm talking about stack. What do you mean by stack? Stack is basically contain the grammar symbols. At the bottom of the stack, there is a special end marker symbol called $. Dollar is used in both the buffers, like input buffer also and stack also. Initially, the stack contains only the input symbol $, and the starting symbol S. It's not a rigid rule that the starting symbol is always be the S. The starting symbol changes. It varies according to the production. If the production's start symbol is E, then the start symbol of that particular production is E or the other alphabet, then basically the start symbol changes. It varies according to the production. When the stack is empty, that is only the $. Is left in the stack. The passing is completed and we need to write the except term. Now, I'm talking about passing table. Basically, a two-dimensional array. Each row is a non-terminal symbol. Each column is a terminal symbol or the special symbol $. Each entry holds a particular production rules. These are the like basic things. Now, what are the parser's actions? The symbol at the top of the stack says X and the current symbol in the input string says A. Determine the parser's action. These are the 4 possible actions. Basically, if X and A are $, then parsers halt. Successful completion. If X and A are the same terminal symbol, different from $, then parser pops X from the stack and moves the next symbol in the input buffer. If X is a non-terminal, parser look at the passing entry M of XA. If M of XA holds a production, X determines Y1, Y2 determines YK, and it pops X from the stack and pushes YK and YK minus 1 and up to Y1 into the stack. The parser also outputs the production rule X determines Y1, Y2, YK to represent a step of the derivation. None of the above, then error will occur. All the empty entries in the passing table are errors. If X is a terminal symbol different from A, then is called an error case. Now, this is the example. First, okay, this is the example, this is the grammar we have given. First, we need to construct LL1 passing table. Now, how would I construct LL1 passing table? The first step is we need to calculate first and follow of all the left hand side. On left hand side, we have non-terminals. All the capital alphabets are non-terminals, and all the small alphabets, all operators or parentheses, etc. are the terminals. Now, first we need to calculate the first of this. For example, if I'm talking about S determines small a, capital B, and small a, what is the first of this particular production? What do we mean by first? After scanning from left to right, what is the first thing or what is the first token is arrived? Now, A is the first token arrived. So, the first of A, the first of S is A. So, the production S derives A, capital B, small a is put in, we calculate, at the first column, in the first row, we write all the terminals. A, B, and $. Dollar is always written with the terminals, and left hand side in a column we will write non-terminals. First, the first of this particular production is A, so the production is written between S of A and the production is written in this column. The next one is the first of B. Now we need to consider this two different productions. What I'm trying to say is B derives small b and capital B is a different production, and B derives epsilon is a different production. These both are two different productions. Now, the first of these two productions, what is the first of these two production? First is the first of capital B derives a small b and capital B. So this production is need to written in this way. Okay, and now the first of epsilon is, what is the first of epsilon? The first of epsilon is epsilon, but in this case we need to calculate the follow. Now how would I calculate a follow? Basically follow is a non-terminal. For example, if I'm talking about B, right now B is here, the B is here, B is here, just after, what is the terminal or non-terminal is present after B? So A is present after B, this A is present after B, the follow of B is A. कहने का मतलब है कि B के जस्ट बाद जो भी कोई आता है वो उसका फॉलो होगा. तो इस प्रोडक्शन की अगर मैं बात करूं तो जो B का फॉलो है वो है स्मॉल a. तो B डिटरमाइंस एप्सिलॉन इस वाली A के नीचे लिखा जाएगा. दिस इज कॉल्ड follow, right? Now this is called stack implementation. This complete process is called stack implementation. First, the stack is included the dollar symbol. The input string is already given, right? We need to pass this string or with the help of this passing table and the rules which I have studied, which I have tell you in the starting. Now the first, in stack the starting symbol is always S, right? We have the input string this. Small a, small b and small a and dollar, right? Now the first one is we need to compare these two things, right? These two are different things. We need to evacuate these things. We need to compare these things, and I remove this S. I remove this S to this production. That's why here a small a capital B and small a is written. We replace right now, and this is the output, and we mention that which action I am performing here, like which production I am using. Right now the next step is, now I'm comparing again this A, this particular A and this particular A. This is the stack and this is the input buffer. Both the symbols are same. When both the symbols are same, we need to pop this symbol and the cursor is moved to next symbol. The pointer is moved to next symbol, right? We need to pop the symbol and the cursor is moved to now like small b and capital B. Okay. Now I'm again comparing these two things, like capital B and small b are two different things, right? Now when the two different things occur, then we again replace, then we again compare with the help of this table. We can directly use this production from here, or we can with the help of table we can predict that value also. For example, small b and capital B, what is the production is used here, then this production is used with capital B. With the place of capital B I replace this production. That's why here capital B, small b and capital B are there, and we need to write this in the stack. And again I'm comparing this and this. Again these both are of similar, small b and small b both are same. Then again I need to pop this and the cursor is moved to next pointer, and the next token or pointer, whatever you want to say, it's up to you. Now again capital B and small b are there, we need to compare it again, and again we use this production. This production is here and this production is here. Again this B is similar, we need to pop this next B and A. if I am talking about B and A, this production is used. B derives epsilon, right? So here B is removed to epsilon. The actual production is epsilon, right? And epsilon is nothing, like it's a null value. So again, I'm comparing these two things, these A and A. Again, we pop this. Now I have left dollar and dollar, and this string is accepted and successful completion is done. This is called LL1 parsing grammar, right? In LL1 parsing grammar, and a grammar is given to you, and you need to calculate, and you need to find out what is you need to find what is all of this. You need to calculate the grammar is LL1 or not. This is called LL1 grammar. I'll explain another example also. Just please wait. This is the derivation of that particular tree, parse tree. If you want to derive a parse tree also for this particular string, then the string is, the starting symbol is S. And we have the production this SBA, right? Again, we further divide B, capital B, and then epsilon. This is called the parse tree. Right? If I am talking about this question, first we need to calculate first and follow. I'll explain. Okay, now the first of this equation, I think we need to start according to my preferences. I will start from the bottom. Like the first of this equation is open brace and ID, and the second one is of asterisk and epsilon, and the third one is for F, again dollar, starting bracket and ID, plus and epsilon, and for this T, the first of T is open bracket and ID. This is the first of this production. Now if I'm talking about follow, right, the follow of starting symbol is always dollar, and the next part is immediate of what is coming, just immediate that particular non-terminal, right? E, on right hand side E is present here, and just after E is closing bracket. So this is the follow. If I am talking about E dash, so E dash is present is here and here. When nobody follows you, then your question always follows you. The follow of E and the follow of E dash will be same, right? In this particular scenario, in this situation, in this type of situation, we write the follow of that particular question. Like the follow of E is dollar and closing bracket, right? Now if I'm talking about T, where is T is present, like this is T and this is T. What is the non-terminal just after the D? E dash is the non-terminal. So what is the first of E dash? The first of E dash is epsilon, right? Yeah, plus and epsilon. जब आपने, whenever you put the value epsilon here, like E dash is equals to epsilon, then what will be the production? E derives plus T. E की जगह पे epsilon हो गया है, तो अब यहाँ पे T को कोई फॉलो नहीं कर रहा, और जब T को कोई फॉलो नहीं कर रहा है तो उसका क्वेश्चन उसे फॉलो कर रहा है, इसलिए जो फॉलो E डैश का था वो हमने जस्ट एज इट इज कॉपी करा है. दिस इज कॉल्ड the follow. Right now I need to calculate, this is for E, this is for E dash, and this is for T. Now this is for T dash. Okay. T dash here and here is T dash is coming. The follow of T is same. Dollar. Right? T dash. And what is the follow of F? T dash. What is the first of T dash? The first of T dash is, and when the epsilon is put here, then again the copy will be, we need to copy this plus dollar and closing bracket. This is the follow of this particular question. First we need to calculate first and follow. After that we need to build this table, predictive passing table, and with the help of this predicting passing table we need to perform stack implementation. Thank you.